Welcome to the Midlife Leap, a lifestyle talk show for women in midlife, sharing tips and interviews on topics ranging from business, career, current news, fashion, shopping, health, travel, and so much more. Please subscribe to this channel so you'll receive alerts of new episodes. And like this video so that other midlife women just like you will be alerted by YouTube to check out the Midlife Leap show. Been in a car accident recently? Do you know if it was a scam? With the recession, more and more scammers are pulling the swoop and squat auto insurance fraud scam for some quick cash. Now, scammers are setting up accidents on the roads which usually involve causing the victim to rear end the scammer. And they'll swoop in front of a driver in a newer model car, the victim, and this is to ensure that the newer model car is substantially covered by insurance. So they're not going to select someone who has an old model car like theirs. They want great insurance coverage. Now, scammers usually want to pull the scam on a driver who is alone. They don't want passengers because they don't want witnesses. Now, although the scammer might have a car full of passengers, and hold on, I'll explain to you why soon. Now, after the swoop, they'll have a buddy drive next to the victim so that when the scammer in front squats, hits their brakes in front of the victim isn't able to swerve to get out of rear-ending the scammer. Swoop and squat. Now, the damage to their cars, both cars are usually very minimal. The scammer will convince the victim not to call the police nor file a report, and definitely not to call their insurance agency, because you don't want to increase your car insurance premium. Not with that nice new car of yours, that newer model. You don't want to increase that. Your insurance is going to go out the roof. No problem. I'm not hurt. My back, my neck doesn't hurt. Don't worry about it. We're all good. Thank you, sir, but make sure you give me your insurance information and everything, because they're going to take your information. Because a few days later, the scammers have filed an insurance claim for the accident, claiming back and neck injuries from the accident. And of course, this is usually a surprise to the victim because they're thinking they just helped out a good Samaritan. There was no problems. But now, not only do they have neck and back problems of all those other passengers that was in the car, remember I mentioned that? Everybody who is in the vehicle in the front is now claiming neck and back injuries from that accident, because more money from the victim's insurance. So not only does the victim get hit with higher insurance premiums that he or she was trying to avoid initially from not filing a report or calling their insurance agency, now it's even higher because their insurance agency has paid out all this money to the scammers, but they can't prove that it was a scam because you didn't file a report. There's nothing on record. You didn't let them know, so you had no choice as the victim but to let them know that, yes, you were in an accident, and I guess it is my fault. You have nothing to back you up. So now the premiums are high. And sometimes victims have gotten dropped from their insurance company as a result. So what can you do to prevent this? 1, stay alert when driving and watch out for vehicles that are slowing down in front of you, especially if you're driving a newer vehicle. And it doesn't have to be brand new. They just need to know that it's new enough that you calculate that it's new enough that you most likely have great insurance. Also, you want to maintain a safe following distance. It drives me nuts when I see people tailgating. That is so like you're potentially setting yourself up for a rear end accident. So keep a safe following distance from the vehicle in front of you. And if you do get into an accident, no matter how minor, call the police, file a report, and definitely call your insurance agency. I read an article that actually said that you can get the other driver to sign that there is that they weren't hurt, etc. But if it's a scammer, how can you ensure that they're going to even sign their real name? I mean, I wouldn't trust it. I don't care if they show you real ID. It could be a fake ID. Scammers are going to scam. So call the police. Let them give the police their fake ID and all that other stuff. You cover you. Okay? So avoid getting scammed as much as possible, because I swear these people, they're busy with everything but productive. Lynn is the founder of HER Retirement, a financial education, planning, and coaching company with a proprietary technology-based platform and personal pension and protection plan that helps women prepare for transition into and live a better retirement. Lynn has 30 years of experience in launching high-tech and financial services companies. As a personal finance educator, financial wellness coach, writer, speaker, and fintech creator, Lynn is passionate about her mission to help women everywhere know more and have more now and in retirement. Lynn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to the chat.
Lynn, your website says that HappiHER, HealthiHER, and WealthiHER isn't just a dream, it's a decision. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe that when women put their mind to something, they can accomplish it. And so often we get distracted. We get distracted with life. Life happens. And we need to really focus and make a decision to be happier, healthier, and wealthier, because I believe that when you commit and make that decision and you say, I'm going to have the discipline to do this, to accomplish this, I believe you can.
Okay. Are a lot of women finding, are they having trouble preparing for retirement or accepting retirement? What's the issue there?
Yeah, I think, it varies, right? So there's some women that have been, from the time they graduated from college and they got their first job, they saved their 401k and, they were very conscientious about saving and spending. And so you have a group of people, not only women, but in this case, we're talking about women. There are some women that are well prepared, and the help that they need in retirement might be, okay, how do I take what I have saved in my 401ks or 403bs or IRAs? How do I take that now and create an income stream, right? I have to start withdrawing money from that pot that I've saved and invested. And so they need help figuring out how to distribute that most tax efficiently. And so that is, I guess, less of a concern because they've done what they should do, and they've projected and they've planned, and they've thought about what they're going to do in retirement, how they're going to spend their time. And so they might need a little less help. But then you have women that maybe they were in and out of the workforce, maybe they weren't in the workforce, and they were, their husband was, and they were raising children, and that was their job, that was their career. And now they're facing retirement, and maybe they're facing divorce. Gray divorce is really a high percentage of divorces are what's called gray divorce, people over 50. And maybe they're needing to start over, or they just didn't save enough, and maybe they relied on a spouse. So those women need to do more, perhaps. Then you have other women that are widowed, right? They weren't prepared. I had two friends last year, their husbands died unexpectedly. They weren't prepared. The husband didn't have a will. They just never thought in a million years at 58 their husbands would pass away. 80% of women die single. So we have to be prepared. And some of us are better prepared than others. And there's that continuum. And so some people have to do certain things. Maybe they have debt issues because they help their kids with school, or they just took on too much debt and they have to kind of dig out of debt before they start saving for retirement. So it spans a spectrum, and it spans an age spectrum. Someone asked me the other day, when do you start planning for retirement? Well, I say the minute you start collecting a paycheck, you start planning for retirement.
So pulling two questions.
Yeah.
The first one, the woman who is extremely prepared, you're not a financial planner, correct? So what is it that how do you help that person?
Yeah, so what happens is a lot of times people will think, okay, I am completely prepared for retirement. I have plenty saved. But perhaps they aren't really where they want to be mentally or physically, right? Because retirement is more than money. And that's why I talk about it's all about being happier, healthier, and wealthier, because I don't think you should look just at your wealth or just at your health or just at your purpose and your connections and your vitality. I think they all kind of go hand in hand. So some women might be prepared financially, so we may help them more on the happiness and health factors. And for women that are prepared financially, there are so many other considerations, and we help figure out, we get them ready for retirement, if you will, because women might not have a social security strategy, or maybe they have a life insurance policy that they're not sure if they should continue their life insurance policy, or maybe they don't have one at all, but they want to leave money to their heirs. So we do personal financial coaching, and we can do a financial plan. We just don't do investment advice, and we don't sell any insurance products. What we focus on is the personal financial coaching, education, and those other non-financial aspects of life that kind of get a little bit more into life coaching. But I also have I have a network of experts, so I can connect women to, if in our work together we uncover that they really have, I don't know, let's say an eating disorder, or they're really unhappy with their physical fitness routine, or they don't have a routine. Well, I have a network of experts that I can connect those women to so that they can pull together the best retirement possible, and it's not just a financial conversation.
Okay. And the woman who finds herself divorced at late age, or maybe she was a housewife, she has debt from her kids, so she doesn't have enough money. How do you help that person? And is there an age range that they usually fall within?
Like I said, retirement planning can start when you're getting your first job at 22 years old. I find though that mostly we're working with women, say 50 to 60 years old. Although, there's 40-year-olds that need some specific things that they could and should be doing. So that's not, that's a fine time to engage to figure out, okay, where do I need to be? Let's say you're 40 and you want to retire at 55 or 60. Where do I need to be to get there? So one of the things that we do is we help women identify where they're at. We benchmark where they're at by taking a financial inventory. And I have a software program that I developed. It's a retirement readiness software platform. And it takes an inventory of everything a woman has financially. And then it identifies any of the gaps. It identifies and educates women about the risks that they may face in retirement. So that 40-year-old that says, I want to retire at 55, well, we educate and say longevity risk is a big risk. You could live longer potentially in retirement if you retire early. So we help women work through those decisions by understanding their risks. And finally, opportunities. So there may be some tax opportunities or other financial planning opportunities that allow a woman to do more with what she has. So in terms of age range, typically retirement readiness, people kind of get more serious about it. And some of the strategies that we educate about really apply as you get closer to retirement. And so the age is different, right? Because everyone wants to retire at different ages. And some women, her retirement, I'm working on a book. And the first thing I say in the book is, this book is about retirement, but you might not even want to retire. But what we say to those people is, we want to make retirement optional, right? We want you to get to a point of financial independence, financial freedom, where if you want to retire, you can, but maybe you want to start another business. Women over 50 are starting businesses at incredible rates. And if you have your financial foundation in place, maybe you can pursue that passion business that you've been thinking about all those years you were in corporate America. So every woman's needs and points of discussion are different. So maybe in the coaching process, it becomes a discussion about, I've been in corporate America and I'm tired. I have this idea to start a sewing business. And it becomes a conversation about that. And then I say, let me hook you up with this amazing career coach that I have, or let me hook you up with a business coach because you've never launched a business. And, we end up going down different paths depending upon the woman, the age, the stage, what she's trying to accomplish. It's kind of a process of discovery. And maybe sometimes people don't even know about the things that, it's this process of, I don't really know who I want to become in retirement. I want to create a whole new persona. I want to move somewhere. I want to live in another country. And I have a coach actually that helps women decide where they want to live in the world, if they're open to that. So a lot of different situations.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. If a person discovers that their retirement isn't enough to stay where they are, once that day comes, they can consider smaller, more affordable cities in different states, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, for a woman that is behind, I was coaching a woman a few weeks ago, and she has a good salary. She has a stable job. She's just behind on her savings. So her plan at 56 is to work until 70. So what we explored was we explored her longevity. What's her family medical history? Like, how realistic is it that she can work physically and mentally until 70? And, 65% of people think they're going to work, well into those traditional retirement years. But the fact of the matter is only 25% do. So I always say, have a plan B, just in case there's some reason that you're not able to work. And then I also say to people that are behind, are there other income sources, right? Can we look at other income streams? How can we take also what you have more efficient? Sometimes a lot of women will say, you know what, I haven't saved enough. I was talking to a woman about a month ago. Guess what she had? She didn't have a lot in her 401k, but she lived in an $800,000 house that was almost paid off. Well, guess what? She has housing wealth, and you can leverage your housing wealth. If you want to create an income stream in retirement, you can leverage your housing wealth for that. And a lot of women don't know that. And again, I have an expert in my network that helps women leverage their housing wealth. So it's just the process of identifying some strategies that a lot of women just aren't familiar with, because they don't do this day in and day out, right? They're doing other stuff. So they can rely on us to help educate them and to give them ideas for other strategies that might work in their situation.
Yeah, they're busy working. The other thing too, you mentioned extra income streams. I find that that's easier today, and probably even more so because of the pandemic, because there is a lot of extra income streams that are remote.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been it's a silver lining of the pandemic. I was just talking to someone about that this morning, because I said, I can now work with people all over the world. In my previous high-tech career, we kind of did that, the old-fashioned way with polycoms on the conference room tables. But, everybody got pushed into this online world. And while the internet's been there for a long time, it has opened up opportunities. I'm actually working on an article with my assistant right now on income opportunities for women after 50, and just trying to sort through what's kind of scammy, what are legitimate opportunities, and what are some things you didn't think about, right? Can you use some of your professional experience or some of your life experience to be a coach or to create digital courses? Or there's so many different opportunities. They all take time. It's easy to come up with ideas, right? It's, come up with a business idea, come up with a side gig idea, but then how do you market? How do you actually sell it, promote it? Those are some of the challenges. And I often caution women, because I used to coach women through a program called Ladies Who Launch. I helped women incubate their business ideas and help them launch their business ideas, because that's what I've done most of my career. But I caution women as they get close to retirement to be a little careful with how much of their retirement, if any of their savings, they're investing in a business opportunity, because you don't have a lot of time to make up for a failed business opportunity. So, starting organically, starting a side business while you're maybe working full time, just kind of getting your feet wet and growing organically without investing a ton of money into it might be a safe thing to do as you get closer or later on in your years. But a lot of it goes into your health and your wellness. And that's why HealthiHER is a big part of it. I'm a big proponent of health. And although I haven't gotten to the point of turning away any clients because of this, I want to work with people that are committed to all three. It's kind of like a nutrition coach or a fitness coach, who helps someone get on an exercise routine. Well, if he or she isn't actually working with that client on what they're eating, it doesn't work. You can't exercise away a bad diet. And so I kind of feel the same way about health, happiness, and being wealthier. They all go together, right? You have to have that commitment to everything. Health is wealth. And no matter how much money you have, if you're not healthy to enjoy it, what's the point? So the people that I work with, we go through this readiness assessment, and I ask them, do you have purpose? How are you feeling mentally? Do you have stressors? Like, what friendships do you have? Friendships and families are two of the strongest determinants for longevity. They help us live a longer, healthier, happier life. So it's like, who are you connecting with? What are those outlets? What contributions are you making to society after you leave your corporate job and, quote, retire? And then we have the health conversation. Like, what are you doing mentally, physically, eating? Are you walking every day? Are you doing some meditation or yoga? And then we have the wealth conversation. So it truly is kind of an integrated approach.
Yeah, and you know what? I think a lot of people don't think about health. Health is connected to your finances, which is what you're saying. But also, if you're extremely unhealthy, those medical bills can pile up.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because the average woman will spend about $150,000 in out-of-pocket healthcare costs over the course of a 20-year retirement. And of course, if we're living longer, right, it's this double-edged sword. Longevity is great, but then it also costs more. But that's out of pocket. That's, after your Medicare premiums, right? Part of it's your premiums, you're out of pocket on prescriptions. And if you have all these other, conditions, some is genetics, you can't help that, but so many things you do control. And it's all about making that decision and having that discipline and commitment to being healthier, because you will save money on your healthcare costs. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how could a potential client reach you to get more information? And I think you have a free gift as well.
I do. So the best thing to do is go to my website at herretirement.com. You can read about me. You can watch videos. I have a great part of the website that's 100% free educational resources, because I don't think a woman's affluence should affect her ability to get educated. My philosophy is that I believe every woman can know more and have more. So I have lots of white papers and videos and free courses that people can take to get educated. And then they can look at some of the coaching programs that we offer. And if you just, need a financial plan, or you need investment advice, you've got your 401ks, or the market right now is down 20% and inflation is up and there's interest rate hikes. What can we do about that? We can connect you with resources for that via the website. So going to the website is the best way. You can reach out to me at lynnt@herretirement.com as well. I'm on social media, TikTok and YouTube, and I podcast every week. I've got about 68 episodes of my podcast, so I love doing that, so you can check that out. And then I do offer free gifts, so the URL will be pasted, noted here for you to go check out that free gift. It gives you 5 steps to really start the baby steps to getting ready for retirement. And I'll save the rest of the details as a surprise. But as you go through that retirement readiness kit, you can reach out to me with any questions you have. But it's like a DIY kind of thing. And, it's just some great resources to really incentivize women to start this, because so many women are almost afraid or a little overwhelmed, but you gotta start. You gotta take a look at what you've got, what you're saving, how long what you're doing might last, identify those gaps, and then take action to fill those gaps. That's what it's all about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.